Today we are going to learn about squares and square roots. We know that a square does not have different sides as their length and their width. A square has the top side is 5, so the bottom side is going to be 5. The side is 5, so the other side is going to be 5. This is a square. Another way to read 3 to the second power is going to be 3 squared. We know that 3 to the second power from our exponents lesson yesterday is 3 times 3. So just 3 times itself. 3 times 3 is 9. So 6 squared is going to be 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 9 squared would be what? 9 times 9, which is 81. Okay, if we wanted to draw a picture of 3 squared, we would have 3 circles along the top, then 3 circles along the side. So 3 squared would be 9 circles. 6 squared would be 6 squares across the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 circles going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we would fill it all in. So 6 squared would be 36 circles. Okay, a quick way to do 9 squared would be 9 circles or columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this would be a square. I know it's not to scale. I'm sorry, it's messy. But this would just be a way to model 9 squared. 9 rows and 9 columns, which would be 81 individual squares. When you see this weird division symbol, this means the square root. So this means you're going to ask yourself, what number times itself equals 64? The number times itself that equals 64 would be 8. So the square root of 64 would be 8. What number times itself would be 25? That would be 5. What number times itself would be 9? That would be 3. Whenever you see the square root symbol, the number, your answer will be smaller than what is in the house. Okay? So the square root of these, we'll do 1 and 2 together, then you can do 3 and 4 on your own. What number times itself equals 4? Okay, so we know that 2 times 2 equals 4, so the answer would be 2 for number 1. What number times itself equals 49? 7 times 7 is 49, so the square root of 49 is going to be 7. Pause the video and answer to number 3 and 4 on your own. Okay, so square root of 16, what number times itself equals 16? The answer is 4. For number 4, what number times itself equals 100? That answer is 10. If you missed 3 or 4, correct it now and then move on. So now this is how we're going to model square roots now, squares and square roots. The first thing you should do is to solve whatever you see. We know that 3 squared means 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3? It's 9. Okay, so we always want to find the picture that best represents our answer. Are any of these Do they have 9 individual circles? No, they do not. A just has 1 cube, and D, if you multiply those two, you would get 18. So D is out. A and D are out. C is out because it just has 3 circles. You would need 9. So B is the best answer for this representation. It has 3 times 3 to get the answer of 9. This next one, solve the square root of 16. The square root of 16, what number times itself equals 16? That is 4. So we want our picture to represent 4. Which one of these represents 4? A is out because that has 16 individual squares. B is out because that's saying 16 times 16. D is out because that would be 8 times 2 is 16. The answer is C for this problem because there are 4 individual squares here. Do number 7 on your own and then we will answer it together. Okay, so how many individual squares are in this picture? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. 8 times 8 is 64, okay? So we would solve these to figure out which one equals 64 whenever you solve it. The square root of 8 is not a perfect square, so A is out. B, what number times itself equals 64? That is 8. Are there only 8 squares here? No, there are not, so B is out. C, 8 squared. What is 8 times 8 equal? That equals 64. Are there 64 squares here? Yes, there are. The answer is C for number 7. If you miss that, correct it and move on to number 8. Sorry, that was the last one. Okay, a perfect square is a number that when squared comes out to a whole number, or the square root of a number is a whole number. So you don't ever want a decimal or a fraction whenever you are working with a perfect square. So 5 squared is going to be a perfect square. 5 squared is 25. 4 squared is going to be a perfect square. 6 squared is going to be a perfect square. 7 squared is going to be a perfect square. The square root of 81 is going to be a perfect square. That's 9. The square root of 9 is going to be a perfect square. That's 3. So remember, a perfect square equals a whole number. Okay, now you can go on to step 2 of your on Schoolweb. And if you need to rewind and look at anything over again, you may, or go on to your quick check and your assignment.